What causes a business coach to succeed? BJ O'Neill here with Business Coach Mastery. And in this very short training, I'm going to give you 3 things to consider. They're not going to be unusual to you, but I get this question all the time. Like, what are the actual things that cause success? And there's a lot to that. I think you probably, as a professional, are aware of that. However, still to this day, after training hundreds and hundreds of coaches, it's the same question we get all the time. It's the 3 things I don't like big words for blanket conversations, but many coaches will still struggle with it. Yet they're simple. They're very, very simple. Okay. So I'm going to share them with you, but I want you to let them just really sink in. And if you're currently coaching right now, especially if you're on our coaching team, I want you to ask your question, where are you on these 3 areas? Like, what does it look like for you? The first one, again, in the context of what causes business coaches to succeed. I don't care about how long you've been coaching. I don't care about the background you came in. You must have these 3 ingredients. And when you do, especially when you have them together, they're stacked together, kind of like compound interest. Things are compounded together, which that's where you get so much growth. Amazing things can happen, okay? So the first one, drive. Just the ability to get out of the bed and just go do it without being told, encouraged. Like, if you want to be successful, you get up and you go do the thing, whether it's picking up the phone, whether it's going to the event, whether it's putting on a workshop, whether it's creating joint venture, doesn't matter what it is. But if you're passive with it, and here's how passivity looks for business coaches. I'm thinking all the time. I'm training all the time. I'm considering it all the time. Well, when this happens, then when that happens, okay. Now, look, we have to make plans. We have to train. Please don't misunderstand that point. But someone who convinces themselves that they're just busy, and you absolutely can in today's world just get consumed with busy work. I'm not referring to that. I'm talking about a tenacious drive, a tenacious just go get them. For instance, this is the kind of unfiltered drive that if you wanted to be successful right now, you could do it. May not be sustaining, but if you could be absolutely successful this way, if you were to pick up the phone and you just started engaging with businesses and attempting to, yes, you need some frameworks and yes, some direction. Just don't miss what I'm saying. If you engaged with business owners all day long, all day, are you going to get some no's? Yes. Are you going to get some times where the phone gets hung up? Absolutely. Are you going to get some don't call me again? Of course, because it's life. But I can tell you, if you did that for 1 week solid, every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you filled your hours with the actionable activity of actually going and just the driving through it no matter what, you'll have opportunities. I've lived it. I've seen it. And those who take that training and that urging, it happens. Unquestionable. Will it happen better for others? Of course it will, because everybody's gift of gab and conversation structure and their ability to connect is different. But it still will work. And I'm not saying that you should go do that. My point is, someone with just unfiltered drive and just wanted to bust through the brick wall and go get it done, you could do that right now today. Or get in your car and you start going door to door. It still works today very well. Obviously, somebody who's got a really good presentation or a conversation approach, even better. That's a different conversation. My point, drive. I'm doing it no matter what. Number 2, you don't stop. It is often, it kind of hurts my heart if I'm in, it sounds a little bit silly, but it kind of does, where the how many people 3 or 4 months in want to quit something. And you've seen it heard, or you've seen it talked about, in culture when we get to the first of the year. And I forget the exact day, so please don't email me if I get this wrong. But it was within the first 5 days or so that the majority of people quit a resolution. Whether you call it a goal, resolution, I don't care. But they quit. And it's kind of sad to see the quitometer today is high. People, they don't want to follow through. They assume things are going to be simple. They don't like the friction. Well, look, nothing of value is going to come without some friction. Nothing of value isn't just going to happen. And honestly, if from a mindset perspective, if you would flip it around and you would begin to see challenges as those are actually gifts that are wrapped up for you for your growth. Because sometimes we have this idea, I want to make $200,000, $300,000, like these lofty goals that coaches, but then they don't want to, like you can't do that if you're not prepared. And the only ways that you can be prepared is to go through challenges. So my encouragement to you is to see challenges as opportunities of growth, letting yourself be stretched to learn something. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. If I can tell you how many times that the way I thought I was doing something and then discovered it was the actually opposite caused success. But the cool thing is now I look at that and go, well, I just wasted a lot of time. But I can look at it through that lens of like, oh, I just wasted a lot of time, or I just learned something. And that learning is going to not just make me better. God's going to use me now to help encourage others and teach others and train others, clients, business coaches, you name it, because now I have been given that gift of trial. So don't quit. No, but it gets hard. Don't quit. Yeah, but the money, yeah, don't quit. Because when you have when it gets this hard, that's my escape button thing. You're going to do that for the rest of your life. So many people that I know, they got these dreams, these ideas, these goals, but they've never gotten anywhere. Why? They don't follow through. They quit. Don't quit. Third one, adopt sincerity over selling. Now, specifically in growing a business coaching practice, you're going to be engaging with people, building relationships, adding value, all these things. And something that I learned very early on, long time ago, close to 20 years ago, I recognized that, and again, I was young, didn't have as much experience, but the approach in the way I conversed with people, just even though, I thought that's what you're supposed to do, and obviously selling works. We have to move commerce. There's nothing wrong with persuasion. Persuading is a good thing, and you have to have that inside your business coaching practice to persuade people to see things that they don't understand. Persuade people to see things that they don't know. Persuade people to believe in strategies that they've never understood. So you're going to have persuasion. But sincerity is different. Sincerity takes the timeline away. Yes, we have to have clients on a certain time clock, but it might not be the time clock for them at that moment. We want to be sincere in our approach, in our conversation. So let me give you an example. If I sat down with you for the very first time in my life and I began just to talk to you about business growth, and I told you about my business practice and, blah, 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 just really a conversation that I'm hoping that could end up into me making an invitation to you to go to an assessment. Like in our turnkey done for you business coaching system, we use a really cool assessment tool, high profile software, super visual, very interactive. If that was my only goal, or because there's a lot of selling in that. And again, we have to persuade. But if I was more sincere and I were to go, so I'm just curious, like when it comes to marketing and some of the most fundamental strategies that are out there, like what does that look like for you? Like, what are you doing right now that's working? What are you doing right now that's not working? And I begin to, again, I'm assuming you own a business, but I begin to just have great dialogue that's embedded with amazing questions that gets that business owner to think. Out of sincerity, we should have a heart for being a thought leader. A thought leader moves someone from where they are right now to where they need to be through giving them aha moments. That's thought. Have you ever considered? Have you ever thought about what would happen if you were to, when you did it this way, what would have changed if you did it that way? Like, those are the ways that you can interact with people that bring sincerity into the conversation versus just trying to sell them on working together. Now, I think you probably know there's way more than 3 strategies or thoughts to ponder to becoming successful as a business coach. But I can tell you right now, of all the strategies, if you don't have a drive, it'll become more challenging. If you quit, well, that's kind of obvious. And as far as I'm concerned, if you don't lead from especially a person of faith, if you don't lead from a place of sincerity, you don't put yourself in a position to be successful. And we see this with coaching people every single day. We'll identify one of these 3 things all the time. Either drive, they want to quit. And the quit doesn't always mean that they want to quit business coaching. The quit is the strategy that they were going to use. They did it a couple times, didn't work out like I thought, they moved on. The quit is I engaged with that prospect, they didn't call me back, I moved on. One of our clients, this is super indicative. One of our clients, our business coaches, was working with his client. That's what I was trying to say, and my tongue just completely stopped working. I love it when that happens, especially in a training moment. And even worse when you're on stage doing that. But they engaged with them, things haven't been going well, whatever. Well, they discovered in the client's CRM, there's like 40 or 50 super hot leads that the sales team just quit engaging with them. Well, we reached out to them, whatever. Well, they only reached out like 2 or 3 times, and that was it. They just moved on. That's quit, right? That's what I'm talking about, is that so you need to learn to have a strong drive. I'm going to do it no matter what. I don't care how it feels today. I don't care how I feel. I'm going to do it, be disciplined to get it done. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to see things through. I finish what I start. I finish what I start. I finish what I start. By the way, that little phrase right there I just said 3 times is one of my affirmations. I finish what I start. I finish what I start. I finish what I start. The third thing is I am going to work hard at asking God to help me be super sincere in building a legitimate, strong, long-lasting, sustaining relationship where I can be a thought leader to this individual, that they can see the sincerity of my heart, and I want to help them succeed. If you'll work on those principles for the rest of your life, you will be successful. I don't care of your background, your life of experiences. I've never spoke before. I've never coached before. It doesn't matter. If you'll embody those 3 things, you put yourself in the driver's seat of being successful, and prospects in the marketplace will see it, feel it, and they'll want to engage with you in that manner. Depending upon where you are on your coaching journey, maybe you've been coaching for a while, but you don't have systems, you don't have processes. Maybe you're a CPA, a business owner, you've got a business experience at some level, helping maybe somebody else run a business. You've been a general manager or a VP or a COO or whatever. You're like, I love the idea of helping others succeed in business with their profitability, their leadership, their team culture, but you don't have tools, resources to do it, but you've thought about it for a long time. You're looking for a next chapter maybe. You just want to know about our done-for-you turnkey system. Go to businesscoachmastery.com. That's businesscoachmastery.com. Or depending upon whether you see this video, there might be a button or a link somewhere. And we'll send you some info, or you can book a quick chat to kind of explore our system to see if it's worth learning more about for you in your journey. Okay? Until next time, take care.